Warning. This video will contain spoilers for the movie Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, so spoiler alert. Also, this video will be containing language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised. If you can't handle four-letter words, then stop watching now. Hey guys, Dave here. Now, I saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 yesterday, and admittedly, I haven't been feeling too hot this week. I've been a little sick. I wasn't feeling too great at work. I saw it after work. So, I saw the movie, had my thoughts about it, and I was debating about even if I should make a review, because I know that what I'm going to say, a lot of people aren't going to like. I wasn't sure if I really was even strong enough to put up with it, because people are going to be referring to me as a DC fanboy or a hater, and that struck something inside of me. And I'm going to be talking about that, because the logic of that statement compared to me makes abso-fucking-lutely no sense at all. Let me explain. Now, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, if you like the first one, sure, you're going to get a kick out of this. The visuals are cool. Music is a throwback, which is also a trick to make it familiar to you. Let's see. It's got funny parts. Hell, the opening credit scene has Baby Groot dancing while the rest of the crew are fighting for their fucking lives trying to stop an alien interdimensional monster. But, because fucking reasons. At one point, Groot's dancing. Gamora is one of the few people that's trying to say, get out of the way, you can't do this. And just waves high as Baby Groot waves high back. The fuck? Now, it's interesting because we get to see something that happens here. See, Marvel has taken virtually all of their properties and applied a very interesting template. They do not believe that they have superheroes or supervillains in their Marvel comics anymore. They are Marvel characters, which means that to them, they being a hero or villain, good guy or bad, antagonist, protagonist, whatever. Doesn't matter as long as they decide what story they're going to be telling. So to them, these are interchangeable. So it doesn't really matter. That is definitely evident here, considering that two of the bad guys from last movie are, of course, they're gruff and they're on the outs and stuff, but eventually shit comes together and they end up working with, even for a short time, being considered being with the Guardians. Yeah, about that. And let's get to the biggest slap in the fucking face, shall we? All the characters in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Mantis, I thought she was kind of cute. Is an interesting portrayal. A little different than the comics. What am I saying? Every fucking buddy in the show is different from the comics. Let me explain. Star-Lord, Peter Quill. Originally, he was supposed to be half human and half alien race called the Spartax. See, there was a cartoon, Guardians of the Galaxy, that they based on the movie series. They even had a whole thing where Peter discovers his father, King Jason, from Spartax. Finds out his heritage, all that stuff. And the movie just said, fuck the cartoon. Let me tell you what we want to do. So they can't even get that shit straight. Drax the Destroyer. Yeah. Laughing inappropriately at stuff. Brings some comic relief. He's essentially like grown-up Groot, only he has a greater vocabulary, apparently. And, well, did you know he was actually born human? Yeah, Drax the fucking Destroyer was born human. At least that was in the way in the comics. He was driving with his family And they were killed by Thanos because he was trying to make sure that no one would reveal his existence. Mentor, another Titan, another member of the race that Thanos is from, not only constructed a new body, but took Drax's essence, his soul eventually, and put it into that body. He was meant specifically to kill Thanos. And for a while in the comics, this guy was Hulk level. He could fly. He was tough. He had a healing factor. He could shoot energy beams out of his hands. We're talking some truly cosmic level shit here. And they decided to depower him a little bit for fucking reasons. Oh, Gamora. Now, Zoe Saldana, good actress, definitely brings style to it. And yeah, she definitely puts the work in. But this Gamora is not the most dangerous woman in the galaxy. In the universe, actually, some people have said. Did you know that Thanos actually cybernetically enhanced her so she has superhuman strength, speed, endurance, durability, healing factor, heightened senses, and she's a master of any and all forms of combat that would pretty much kick anybody's ass? Does she give you the idea that she can actually go toe-to-toe with someone like Thor, for example? Because she's actually gone toe-to-toe with Angela, Thor's sister. And it was a tough fight. No? You never got that idea from Gamora on the big screen? Oh, I don't know. Could it be because they pushed her the fuck out? Oh, let's talk about Groot. Yes. Everyone liked Groot before. Now we like Baby Groot because fucking reasons. And it's something cute that we can do. So we can make him say whatever the fuck he wants to say. So he's essentially the wooden R2-D2 of the franchise. Fuck. And we got different stages of it. So we have different action figures we can sell. We will milk that shit. Yay. Did you know that in the comics, even if Groot was destroyed, he gets planted back and starts healing up again, he can actually go from little plantling to full at will? Yeah, he can. Why didn't you do that in the movie? Fuck if I know. Someone wanted it to be cute. And then there's Rocket. Rocket Raccoon, who is a genetically altered and cybernetically actually enhanced raccoon, but he doesn't like being called a raccoon because fucking reasons. And he's a little dipshit in here. I mean, motherfucker is the biggest tantrum baby I've ever seen in this thing. And there's no reason for it. He's not even acting in here. Oh, and did you know that for a time in the comics, Rocket was running around with a Punisher knockoff shirt on his chest? He was a fucking raccoon Punisher. But they seem to forget all about that part. No, they just take it and they kind of make a kinder, gentler Rocket, if you can even call it that. The fucked up thing is, since Marvel fucked themselves, they've killed off Logan, Wolverine. Now they're trying to maybe bring him back or whatever, because reasons. And they fucked themselves over with the whole deal what they made over with Fox. They can't really... They have standing orders. Don't make any more mutants, because as soon as you make a new one, boom, Fox gets to make shit off of that. So, they've turned Rocket Raccoon into their fucking Logan. In the first movie, you could actually see a little jumpsuit that Rocket has, and it's a goddamn knockoff of Wolverine's costume in the fucking comics. He's a goddamn Wolverine wannabe with guns. That's it. And people are okay with that, because, fuck, that's we said so. So they got Peter instead now. She's the son of Ego. There's a whole touching thing about going to meeting Ego. He has a... Oh, here's another thing. Marvel used to be called the House of Ideas. They would come up with some great stuff, and you even ask for things. You'd write into them, and then they'd write comics because you demand it. They stopped doing that since they're the House of Mouse. You know, the ideas that they have are the ones that they're trying to fucking sell you and send down your goddamn throat. So... apparently, these motherfuckers are trying to rip off a 1980s animated movie called Heavy Metal, which is based on a hardcore animated or a comic magazine that did some pretty adult shit. This is a PG-13 watered-down ripoff of Heavy Metal. There's a fucking spaceship that Ego has that looks like a giant smiley face. The same shit you could see in the Heavy Metal movie. There's some cosmic trippy shit. And since they can't do drugs, they end up like hopping from reality to reality, or like port to port, and it's a fucking drug trip effectively. You know, it's like Doctor Strange, only you don't need transcendental meditation. Yandu! You know, he was the bad guy, now he's kind of good, or at least he's good for his own reasons, even though he's a fucking killer. Ego. He's a cancer-given prick who's decided to try to take over the universe and make everything his thing. Spoilers. I mean, it's great to see Kurt Russell. But then there's also Sylvester Stallone, his partner from Tango and Cash, who apparently is playing Starhawk. See, you don't know Starhawk. Yandu and Starhawk, along with the Crystal guy next to him, Martin X, who is played by Michael Rosenbaum, who played Lex Luthor in Smallville. These are all guys who were representative of the original Guardians of the Galaxy from the 31st century. This is where they all started. And they were definitely different. I mean, Yandu was more of a primitive, kind of like Drax is now. So, I don't know, they turned him into a blue redneck in this. So, I don't know what the fuck that is. You know, and instead of just being able to whistle the Yaka arrows to move, no, he needs to fucking control things. So, he needs the fin. Because, fuck, it looks cute. I don't know. They gave him a fucking fin to control the arrow. They couldn't even give the fucking Nova Corps their Nova power and helmets in the first movie or the second, because fuck you, that's why. And it's just frustrating as shit. They don't even give Peter his fucking the stuff that he had before. Peter, he in his early adventures had something. He had a couple of cool things. He had a sentient starship called a ship. It was actually a mental thought form that could will itself from energy to matter. So even if the ship was damaged, it could, you know, fix itself. It could make various different weapons, gear, whatever you needed. And Peter's talking about how he thought his father was Knight Rider. He had a fucking ship that answered to his thoughts. He was Knight Rider before David fucking Hasselhoff. But no, you guys don't care because Disney doesn't want you to fucking care. He also had a cool weapon called an element gun that can actually channel all four of the elements so he can fire earth, air, water. Very interesting. They had it in the cartoon, but for some strange reason they didn't have that. Instead, they have him as the son of Ego, and while he was on the planet, he had elemental powers. See, hopefully in the future this means it because eventually, after a long story short, Ego died, and Peter's no longer going all like Dragon Ball Super Saiyan with elemental powers. He fucking does it, I swear. That eventually, maybe, because he's still alive, there's still a part of Ego that's going to be alive. Or maybe a small part of him. So maybe he'll eventually create ship. And he'll be able to create an elemental gun. Stuff like that. So, you know, fuck, you are not getting me on a roll right now. Anyway. It is just... It doesn't have to do anything with the Infinity Stones in this one. It's more of the same. To pump out money. And if you're okay, if you like the first movie, if you like that kind of thing, it's fine, but take it for what it is. It's a parody of itself. None of these characters are true to their own selves. They're fucking parodies of themselves. These representations on the screen are as accurate to the comic books as the 1960s Batman TV show starring Adam fucking West is to Batman now. Or even the source material of that. I'm not even fucking kidding. It may even be worse. And here's the fucking thing that gets me. I try to make a point about the comics. About the nature of them. And I understand that certain things don't always work. Some things need to change. And I'm all for that if they're done correctly. But the pattern just keeps seeming to be more and more of the same, and I don't like the direction things are fucking going, especially when they are no longer faithful to their own fucking source material. I point stuff like this out. I talk about the comics and how the movies are not doing that anymore. They fucking destroyed the Marvel Universe and rewrote it in their image just so they can make the continuity of the comics like the movies. It's a movie company that just happens to be making comic books now. That's it. These are not the same things. Dr. Octopus was Spider-Man. Spider-Man is now a ripoff of Tony Stark in the comics and has a fucking multi-million-dollar company. Look it up. Captain America is now, and always has been, a fucking agent of Hydra. Kiss my ass. So here's the thing. It pisses me off more than anything else. I say that this is not the stuff I grew up with. These are not being accurate to these characters. And someone comes along and says, oh, you're just a fucking hater. You're just a DC boy. I grew up reading DC and Marvel, as well as a few other independent stuff. I love this shit. They're a part of me. What I'm pissed at is that the fucking company doesn't even care about their own shit anymore, unless, of course, it's financial, unless it's their copyright, their registered trademarks. But they don't give a fuck about the quality of the stories anymore. They don't. So I have motherfuckers telling me when I complain about the comics are not being accurately represented in the movies or the TV shows, and someone saying, I'm not a Marvel fanboy. Fuck you in the face with a crowbar! That is the stupidest shit I have ever heard, and I know for a fact I'm not the only one. I talk about shit not being like the comics, and I'm not a fan. Fuck you, assholes. That's like saying that if you read comic books, it's causing illiteracy. How the fuck can reading anything cause illiteracy? Do you even think? Shit! You guys are the... Ugh. It just pissed me off, guys. And I see more of a trend. Spider-Man Homecoming. Kind of interested in seeing it, but with diminishing returns. I mean, they couldn't know how to do fucking science the last two movies. And this one is like, without the suit, I'm nothing. Bitch, please, you're Spider-Man! And they're turning you into the amazing Iron Bitch! Suddenly, the best you can be relegated to is sidekick? Fuck Tony Stark with an adamantium dildo. Oh, I'm sorry. Can they use adamantium anymore? Or do they give the rights away to that shit too? Or does it have to be vibranium? See what I mean? It's fucking ridiculous. But hey, if you want a deliciously trippy parody of itself that doesn't even know what direction it's taking or even how to be faithful to their own fucking characters from one movie to the other, no, sure. Enjoy. They're counting on you not knowing. And the fact that they're shilling that stuff out to make a multi-million-dollar franchise that people will look at the movies and think, that shit's gospel, that pisses me off. And I'm not the only one. Maybe I'm not going to be welcome at comic book conventions for my opinion. And if you enjoy it, fine. I'm glad you are. But the source material is so much more in-depth, so much better than the lampoon that it's turned into. I roast the show Arrow weekly on my channel. I do so not to destroy it, but to call attention to the bad things that need to be fixed. That's what I'm doing with this. I'm calling attention to a very bad thing that needs to be fixed, or it's going to have a disastrous end. And people are not going to like where it goes. I'm the guy telling you about the bad shit that's coming. I'm the guy in the horror movies telling you that the disaster is coming, but no one wants to listen to. Do so at your own peril, guys. And I don't give a fuck about the House of Mouse and the way they're trying to brainwash people, telling you what to think and what's supposed to be popular. If Mickey Mouse himself brought that shit up to me, I would shoot him in his non-existent cartoon dick with a slingshot. And to anybody that has the balls or the stupidity to tell me that I'm not a Marvel fan when this shit was a part of me growing up, you are the stupidest fucking assholes I could even imagine, because you don't know what you're saying. Take that and run with it. Peace. Fuck you, Marvel.